Okay, so today I'm actually in Seattle. We're installing an oven for a customer. That's a great opportunity for me to go see one of our oldest customer, which is Jan Galbraith, owner of the Carlson Block. So he bought an oven about 13 years ago. Very cool oven that he actually tiled himself with actual pennies. So I always wanted to go see this oven. So here I am on my way. Unique opportunity to go see an oven that is 13 years old and has been making great pizza for many years. Okay, so I've arrived in Wilkeson, which is an old mining town, and that's where we have the Carlson Block. Very cool old building. After making it to the restaurant and seeing how beautiful of a town it is, I was able to get inside and speak to Ian. This is the first time I've seen his oven in person, which he finished himself in actual pennies. The first question I had for Ian was about one of the most important parts of the pizza making process, the dough, and how he takes care of his sourdough starter.
It's a naturally leavened dough. So
Cool.
I make it the day before, I bulk proof overnight, I ball in the morning. It's ready to go by the time we open. Yeah. I started in 2010, so it's 16 years old now. I moved out here to open the pizza place. I got the starter going then. It wasn't my first starter. It was just the one I figured I'd start a new one out here. So it's kind of from this town, you know. I had a couple of them. Some I got from like those little packs you can buy, you know. It's like an established super old starter from the gold rush or whatever, whatever BS. The one that I started when I moved out here, it's been the best one. You know, especially because usually, like when I used to have starters in the past, I wasn't baking every day. Now that I bake commercially, it's like it's fed multiple times a day, every day. You know what I mean? So it has no choice but to be healthy. I do in bulk. Yeah, about 7:30 in the morning, I head down to work. And I weigh it, ball it, and then by about 9, it's done. Yeah, it just sits in that closet, and I don't really have any sort of way to mitigate temperature outside of like I have a little space. So in the winter time, I turn a space heater on to try to get the temperature up. And sometimes in the summertime, it's so warm down here, I might throw it back in the walk-in for 20 minutes just to like get the temperature down, and then I'll bring it back out. And it's kind of a pain in the butt. I would love to have like a facility that 68 degrees, you know what I mean? I do know I'm pretty good about like I can see what the weather's going to be like. I know roughly what it's going to feel like down here, you know, tomorrow morning. It'll be 71 degrees on that temperature right there tomorrow morning. And I either keep that door closed if I want it cooler, I keep it open if I want it warmer. I adjust the temperature of the water that I'm using when I make my dough. It's just kind of like you get used to it, you know. I know my building, and I know what ideally I would like my dough to be like. So yeah, I like to sit 70, 71. Every now and then, like I experiment with like keeping my starter a little drier, which will affect my total water weight a little bit. But like lately, I've been experimenting with a little bit drier starter and using it a little bit younger, feeding it a little bit later, so it's a little bit younger when I make my dough. Actually, yeah, less sour. It also seems it conserves a little bit of its overall leavening energy, and I seem to get better oven spring the next day. I don't know if that's bullshit, but I'm not a trained baker, so I don't have like the vocabulary necessarily to understand what's going on, but just anecdotally, that's what I've observed, you know. Yeah, it's like it continues doing what it does, even when it's been incorporated into your final dough. And I just feel like it has a little extra gas in the tank for when the time comes to hit it in the hot oven. It's just like seems to come alive then. I don't know what a trained baker would call that. Someone who knows what the hell they're talking. There's a reason why. There's just like there's a reason why for everything, but I don't know what it is, but I like it. And so I've been trying that lately. I'm sure there's people that can perfectly articulate what it is I'm talking about that like don't know what it feels like when the dough's good, because it's the difference between head knowledge and hand knowledge, you know what I mean? And so I'd much rather know with my hands than my head, you know? It'd be great if the two can kind of come together.
Ian was putting corn on a pizza while talking to me, so I asked him about that.
Yeah, we do this in the summertime. People like it, and good excuse to buy cases of corn because I love it. I like eat as much corn as possible, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah. Ian wasn't born in Wilkeson, so I asked him how he wound up in a town with only 500 people in it.
Born in California. Moved up here though when I was just a couple years old, and so I'm from here. I didn't even know this place existed until early 2000s. My parents like bought some land that way a little bit, and, you know, and moved out here. And yeah, it's cool. Now that I live in, it's 500 people in the town, you know, it's kind of weird. I never thought it. Yeah, I like it. Like I don't want to live anywhere else. The thing is, like, if you want to do something, there's like a ton of stuff within, I think within 20 minutes, there's 75,000 people, which isn't a lot compared to a city, but with that amount of people, you have every department store you need, every supermarket you need. Like, we're not really missing a whole lot, except for some good restaurants. But yeah, I like it out here. It's quiet. We bought the building in 2010, and then we opened in 2016, end of 2016.
Yeah. With his 10 years in business, I wanted to know if he had a history in the restaurant industry.
The restaurant business in general was always in the family. My dad worked in restaurants and managed restaurants. I went to culinary school and cooked my whole life. In Hyde Park, the Culinary Institute of America in the Hudson Valley. I think a derivative of French culinary arts, you know, French cookery. That was like the core cuisine. You know what I mean? So there's no pizza. That would be, yeah, this is all self.
That would be a crime.
This is all self-taught. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Which all love for, like, thank you, France, for everything you contributed. But this part was all self-taught. Yeah. As much self-taught as someone can be nowadays with the internet and like books and like self-taught from the information I chose to consume. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely not like out there learning myself.
I wanted to know how Ian decided to start making pizza for his restaurant. So he told me about starting with bread and then moved on into pizza for some variety.
Well, I started sourdough bread. And so from there, then I was like, okay, I like making loaves. But I don't just want to eat bread all the time. I mean, I do, but I wanted to do something more with some of the skills and stuff. So pizza just seemed like a nice little offshoot, you know, like a branch from the same tree. And so it's like, but it had more variety, you know what I mean? Like I could use some of the same starter that I had been building and trying with. And then, you know, an infinite number of toppings. So I could eat it all the time without getting bored. You make a country loaf. It's beautiful, but it's just up to a loaf of bread, you know what I mean? So that just became something I was doing a couple times a week by myself at home, and that was like an electric deck oven and stuff like that. And then I was working at a restaurant that had a wood fire oven, and I became good friends with like the general manager of the restaurant. He let me, like, after the restaurant was closed, I would bring some of my dough in and goof around and actually cook with a wood fire oven, you know? And that was the first time I was ever exposed to that. And that was really cool because it was really visceral and, you know, alive.
His restaurant has changed a lot over the 10 years they have been in business.
And then this building came up. Like, I was talking to my mom and dad, and I had visited, and they knew that I liked this building because I had visited before. Come up for sale, and it was in kind of rough shape, but so like a very unique but affordable. You know, like in 2010, like it needed a lot of work, and to do a restaurant, it would take a lot of sweat equity and time and money, you know. But what I didn't have in money, I had in like hard work.
Yeah,
so it's like, yeah, like when we got this place, had like 3 levels of 3 colors of paint, 3 coats of paint. So it was like a year and a half of scraping it all. There was just a lot of busy work to do that you either hire someone to do it or you do it yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's kind of the way it was. And then we opened in 2016, and we've been fortunate enough to this December will be 10 years. We got like 5 more months, so hopefully knock. But yeah, I figured we made it through COVID. That was weird. And we had to restructure some stuff, but we learned a lot. We used to do like regular sit down service, waiters, like that. COVID kind of changed all that, Now we have like a kind of hybrid system. People dine in, but they order at the counter. We bring the food to them, but there's no waiters, They help me streamline. So you just learn stuff, and like you cut away fat, and and then you're like get a little bit more streamlined. And I think I'm able to be more economically responsible. And I'm able to I haven't had to raise my prices as much as I otherwise would have had I maintained what we were doing, which is cool because when you're in a small town like this, like I go to a city or something, I see their pizzas and what they charge, and then, I like the product I put out. I know the effort we put into it. What would I have to charge for the quality of ingredients with what I do in a city? It would be a lot more than what I'm able to charge here, My clientele wouldn't pay the same amount, you know what I mean? So we've been able to kind of adapt and not charge as much as other places, but at the same time be economically viable as a business because we're still here. The most I ever do in a single day with my mixer, my biggest batch gives me about 130 doughs. And like in the summertime on a weekend, it's probably most of it's dine in. We don't really do many phone orders at all. If it's takeouts, they come in and they order it to go. Maybe 20% takeout, I don't really look at numbers like that, I don't care if it's, we used to do everything in boxes during COVID. Everything was to go. And even like, I got so used to that, like the first year after all the restrictions were lifted and all that, I just kept doing it in boxes because it was way easier. But then I was like, I should probably stop spending money on takeout boxes. And, so I bought a bunch of new plateware and all that stuff when we went back to dining. Most of it is dine-in, probably 80%, 85%. Restaurants, success and failures, rarely, it's a whole bunch of other variables as opposed to the quality of the food. There's a ton of great places with awesome food that go out of business every day. So like, I feel very fortunate that we were able to learn what we learned, and we had like a customer base that supported us, and plus I live upstairs, and like the economics of this place is a little bit different, where it's like my house and my business all in one, which is a blessing and a curse, because I'm never not at work. But if I had like a home with a mortgage, it'd be a lot harder to have maintained it, you know what I mean? No, I don't have a commute home. And when we opened up, we didn't have children. Now we have children, and like they come down and like hang out, and I'm able to run up and say hey, which is awesome, and they don't like it when dad goes to work, but then they realize like, oh, I can walk down the stairs and go say hi, and so that's awesome. I don't have to go to the office somewhere and FaceTime them good night. I can run upstairs real quick and say good night.
The schedule has changed since having kids.
My girl's 6 and my son's 4. I'm old, so I got started a little bit late, but it's worth it. I don't take it for granted how fortunate I feel and am that I don't have to work outside the house, I know that, especially during this time when they're so young, I'll never regret like trying to spend as much time with them as possible. And that's the reason why we used to be open 6 days a week when we first opened the restaurant. And then that quickly I found myself, even now, like I found myself working that 7th day, like running errands, doing all this, doing prep, So 7 days a week for me with the restaurant open at 6 days a week. So we cut the slowest day 5 days a week, which was great. That was good. I had one full day off, and then I had one day running errands, doing prep, but I had one day to sit and relax and spend time with my wife. And then COVID happened, and my wife was pregnant. So my daughter was due June of 2020. And so after she was born, we were just still doing 5 days a week. But we had one day that was considerably slower than everything else, and COVID was going on. So it was like, I'm cutting that day. I have a baby and a wife, you know, I have 2 days off now where I can be with them. One day where I'm running around doing stuff. And honestly, any business I would have made on that 5th day has now migrated over to the 4 days that we're open every week. My net revenue is the same, you know, and I mean, well, we've more now. I didn't lose business. People seem to understand prioritizing family, new baby. We do a good job communicating with our customers on social media, you know, and so it's worked out great. And now we have 2 kids, and you know, it just works for us.
There is opportunity to expand the business in the future, even if it's not just yet.
Now, ideally, I would love to find some skilled labor in the future. You know, I want that revenue, but as long as it's me being the guy, like that's my balance, you know, and that works for me. It works for the family, which I'm happy with. I'm a pretty frugal guy. We live a really simple life, you know. There's only so much we need to make to provide a living to our family, you know. Anything above and beyond would be wonderful, you know what I mean? Like, I don't have a retirement account, you know what I mean? It's like, I should probably be better about that, you know? But I think if we were open 6 days a week, we can feed more people, and people seem to like the food, and like, that'd be great, you know? But that day will come in the future at some point, you know? It's not now. I would love for that to happen soon, but the skilled labor pool out here is small, and to get someone with I either need someone with a desire to learn, which I'm happy to train, but it requires a commitment to learn this craft, you know, to maintain a standard that we've developed, you know, or it's bringing in someone with a skill set previously developed that's adaptable to what we do, but that's hard to find, to get them to commute and like, you know, that's why for now it's like, me and my wife talk about this. At some point in time, the right person will show up. Until then, I'll go work every day, and because I would love to run my restaurant, not work in my restaurant. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things that I would do differently if I had the time to look through the restaurant owner's eyes, as opposed to a guy with a prep list and a time we open and a line out the door. You know what I mean? That's like head down, go to work sort of mindset, as opposed to all right, how can we be more efficient? You know, all the restaurant owner stuff that kind of gets kicked on the side when you work it. You know?
Using high quality ingredients is very important in the pizza making process, and Ian prefers using local ingredients and prioritizes the ingredients he likes over something that might have been better marketing.
I do. Cairn Spring Mills. They're, well, you're not from here, but if you go north on I-5 towards Canada, there's Skagit County there, and Cairn Spring Mills is there. They started in 2017, and their goal was to buy from Washington State growers or Northwest growers growing particular types of wheat that's Northwest wheat, you know, to a specific standard, grown in a specific way, and it's awesome. It's not like 00 flour or anything like that. It's not pizza flour. It is bread flour. But for me, and what I bake and what I look for, I love it. Like, I love that it's like a Northwest product. I make the fresh mozzarella that's made from curd that comes from Ferndale, Washington, up north on I-5, from a Little Husband and Wife dairy. It's super high quality. I love it. Before that, I was using Grande, like a lot of people. This is way better than Grande, you know, in my opinion. I mean, during COVID, I got kind of bored doing what I was doing. the same way, you know? And it's one of those things where that mindset, like if you're not moving forward, you're getting left behind, you know? Other people are moving forward.
Yeah.
And so it was just a matter of trying. And it's like, and I'm not an elitist, the pepperoni I was using, it's a really good pepperoni to me in my mouth, the way I like my taste. I've tried really expensive pepperoni manufacturers and I haven't switched off it, you know, even though it's a lot cheaper, you know, even though you think the more, the higher quality product might work better, but for my taste, I always follow my taste, you know? So like I used to use Stanislaus tomatoes. My taste took me to Bianco di Napoli stuff, like that a lot better. Blind tasting. A, B, I don't know which one's which. I'm gonna eat it and then I'm gonna let it decide. And if it's the cheaper one, hey, great, I save a little money. Yeah. If it's not, oh good, I have a better product. And you pay for it, you know? When it came to like flour, it was trying it. I like this better, you know? When it came to the cheese, I like the Ferndale stuff better, you know? Cost is pretty, on some of that stuff is pretty comparable. So it wasn't like, it's not a matter of trying to save more money or using the more expensive product for whatever marketing reasons or anything. It's like you letting my taste decide what I like best, you know? And if that changes, that changes. And it's like, I just did it, I don't know, 6 months ago. I tried the tomatoes again to be like, am I still right for me, you know? And I didn't change, you know, like A, B, oh, I like this one better. Oh, that's what I've been using. Cool. All right. At least I'm not lying to myself, you know, because I know, especially as cooks and stuff, sometimes when something's marketed or is like an artisanal product, craft product, these are all, you know, we like that stuff. We like small batch. We like really high end ingredients and stuff. But sometimes like I've found like I've used really nice salamis, but for me in my application here, coming out of a wood fire oven, I step down a tier and like as far it saves me a little bit of money, the taste is great, and it works better for me and what I'm doing, you know. So that kind of was like the genesis of it. It's just like trying it. Oh, I like this better. Try it. I like this better, you know. I have no loyalty, I guess. I have no tradition, you know. There's nothing. I just go wherever my pizza's a lot different than when we opened 10 years ago, and that's just because I keep following what I'm tasting, what I want to see, you know, at this end result. I'm not Italian, you know what I mean? I don't have a bunch of voices in my head saying that's not what you should be doing. That's not what you should be using. You know what I mean?
I wanted to know what kinds of pizza were popular in the area, as well as what Ian's own favorite is.
Probably the fennel and sausage, surprisingly, because it's a white pizza with like fresh garlic, thyme, sausage, fresh mozzarella, and then some shaved fennel, you know. Surprised people like that as much. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but just in this area, I'm surprised that as many people like as they do. I do have a Brussels sprout and bacon pizza that I'm very happy that people like because I like it a lot. And it's not something in this area, small town, like I thought it was just going to be like meats and combo, you know, it's just boring, you know what I mean? But people like some of the other ones, which is great. My favorite pizza's not on the menu anymore. I like a marinara pizza. Lots of tomatoes, extra garlic, oregano, and just a bunch of olive oil. It's just like super clean. And then I'll grate some hard cheese over at the end, but that's my favorite, like to eat, because it's just like good tomatoes and good bread. It's like, you know, bread and dipped in tomatoes, you know what I mean? It's with some herbs and stuff. I love it. That's the Brussels sprout. It's just with some belly bacon, and they're gonna add, looks like, yeah, they're adding sausage to it, which is totally fine. No judgment. I don't like too much stuff. A plain cheese pizza, like a plain pie, I like that too, you know. Sausage and shishito. Nice. It's become one of the more popular ones. And I think it's been on the menu like 2 years now, and people seem to like it. It's my wife's favorite. It is good. I am happy to sell people, like on our menu, we have like a build your own. It's X amount of dollars, which is just a plain cheese pizza. And then people pay for toppings, you know? And sometimes people come in here and put everything in the kitchen sink on there. And like, I'll make it for you, and I'm going to charge you accordingly. That doesn't make sense to my brain. It's like, you know, give me a couple things on there, super clean, you know, like I'll do like a plain cheese pizza, like a plain pie with just like onions, you know. That's super good, you know. A margarita with just onions, or maybe a topping or something. But I'm not a big multiple topping guy, and I say that as I do like the corn pie that has a lot of crap on it, you know. We have a mushroom pizza on the menu that's popular. I don't use any cream or anything. It's like garlic confit and then roasted garlic olive oil and thyme on the base, and then it's just a bunch of mushrooms and some hard cheese and a little rosemary olive oil at the end. People really like that one, you know what I mean? Every now and then you'll get someone our clientele is used to one thing, and that's, you know, red sauce is on pizza is red sauce, or it's like Alfredo sauce. No, I think it's 2026. Anything can be pizza, man.
Since pizza toppings can be controversial, I asked Ian what he thinks about one of the most debated pizza toppings.
I'll never have pineapple on the menu because that just opens a door I don't want to open. But like you give just pineapple and like the hottest chilies you have, like Thai bird chilies or Serrano chilies. I love that crap. You know, I would never have it on the menu, but I like eating it. For yourself, I'm not gonna lie. I make a lot of pizzas here that will never be on the menu. Like like dude loves buffalo chicken. I'll make you a buffalo chicken pizza all day long. You know, never put it on the menu, but I'll make it for you. You know what I mean?
While Ian works at the restaurant every day they are open, he has some staff to help out.
Now I have 4 employees. At one point pre-COVID, we had like 7 or 8, but that's because we had, like I was talking about, like waited table service, you know? And so I always had like 2 to 3 people on the floor, people in the, you know, a couple people in the back of the house, like a busser up front. And it was, you know, it was just different, you know what I mean? It was just a different style.
I wanted to know about their process to get the restaurant open and how that process has gone.
I think it was well received by the locals. I think most people actually didn't think it was gonna open, you know? Like here's some asshole saying that he's gonna open a pizza place in Wilkeson, and it took 6 years, you know? I think a lot of people were just shocked that, hey, he said he was gonna open and he opened. Then I think people came in, they really liked it. We were really like moderately busy local neighborhood restaurant. Things changed in 21. During COVID, some really nice articles were written about us in some larger publications. And it really changed the nature of our business, you know? We got very busy. And we sold out all the time, and so things shifted, you know. It went from a lot locals, like this local general area, to like people driving from far away, like sellouts, long lines, and it kind of like, it just made everything different, feel different, you know. Which I'm not complaining because it's
a good problem to have.
Yes, I have children and, you know, wife. And bills. Yeah, a lot of nice customers come out from that way, and which is nice because Seattle has a lot of great pizza. I've developed a lot of good friendships with people out there who are excellent at what they do, and so. But then when this opportunity came about, it was like, what could I see myself doing? I didn't want to do like pretentious food, like fine dining stuff. I didn't want to do anything that was cost prohibitive to your average family. I just want to make food for people, you know, rich, poor, black, I don't care, black, white, yellow, green. You got $15, I got food for you, you know. And so pizza was like that one kind of food that everybody seems to like, you know. And I fell in love with it. You know, I was doing it myself, you know, as a derivative of the bread I was doing. So it just seemed like a natural progression, you know.
Nice. Since the ovens are so versatile, I wanted to know if Ian made anything other than pizza in the oven.
Yeah, I cook myself a mean ribeye in there. We eat a lot of beef out of this oven. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. When it comes to like service, it's just pizza. You know, I do a lot of prep in here. I do a lot of cooking for prep in here. Like when I get the fire going in the morning, like I'll have a little bit of leftover. Dough today. I'll reball it, bake off some loaves tomorrow with the reballed dough, and then the day after I'll pick it and I'll make croutons. Like, and I'll toast those in the oven like before I get a fire going. When I get a fire going, I do our roasted onions. You know, anything that I need that's for a pizza or something, I'll cook in there, which it works great for. I used to before, like when we were a little bit slower, but that would require me making my pizza dough is different from what I would do for like a sourdough loaf. You know, I would treat it differently, and I just don't have the time to do that. You know what I mean? But no, I don't really have the. Every now and then I might hand mix a small batch of dough or something, because like the minimum I can do in that is just way too many loaves of bread for what I would need. So I might hand mix something. But honestly, I'll reball this dough and it's not pretty. Like the crumb's not like that beautiful airy country loaf crumb. It makes a hell of a good piece of toast or bread for a grilled cheese sandwich and croutons for the restaurant. So I'm not complaining.
I enjoyed getting to chat with Ian about his business and his success, and then it was time to try a pizza. Okay, here we are, leaving the Carlson Block. This was absolutely an excellent pizza. The dough is really good, and the mushrooms he puts on it just makes it extremely flavorful. Again, a little tour of this really cute town. End of the day on a Thursday night.